Hello friends, welcome to Joy of Life. So before we proceed with this episode, what I would like to tell you is that if you have not seen the system design introduction video wherein we have discussed about the architecture of this mini project that we are building, I would highly recommend you to check the same. I will leave a link to the description as well so that you can click, check the same and then get back onto the video. So in the previous video, we have made some requests and we have seen that the URLs are going to the right topic. So we saw it going to HTML topic. It was taking around half a second of time. So in this episode, what we are going to do is we are going to check how our service is going to scale. So what we are going to do is we are going to install JMeter and see how our application performs with certain load. So you can go over here with JMeter downloads and you can download JMeter. So since I am using a Windows, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and download the zip file over here. So once we click, we get an option to save it. So let's get it saved. So I have copied it over here. So what we are going to do next is to extract it here. So once extracted, you'll get a folder called JMeter with the version number and you have your JMeter inside it. Right, so we are going to see how we are going to use JMeter and we are going to put certain load into our application. We are going to go inside the bin folder and we are going to run jmeter.bat. So this will start JMeter for you. So you can see that it's been started and the JMeter logo is also up. And yeah, JMeter is up now. So we are going to create some test over here and we are going to see how our application performs. So we are going to create the first test plan over here and we are going to test URL feeder service. This is going to be our test plan and what we are going to do is first we are going to add some thread groups to it. So let's say I am checking for the post endpoint. So let me create a thread group for that. If there is any error, I am not going to stop. We'll continue. Number of threads is 1. So this is like number of users. So let's keep all these to 1 and we'll put say 10 requests, 1 user and 1 second ramp up period for the same. So the next thing we need to create a request. So we'll go to HTTP request. So HTTP, it's by default HTTP. So our server is localhost and the port is 8085 and path is / nothing else over here. And we need to put a body over here. So we were giving a JSON like structure. So URL and we'll put say HTTP www.google.com, something like this. So all the 10 requests is going to be google.com. We'll soon see how we can change those things down the line. So let me put them in quotes. Okay. And the next thing that you need to do with this request is to add some headers, right? You need to come to the config element and choose HTTP header manager and we are going to add some header over here. So it would be content type and the value would be application JSON. Okay, so our request is now ready. So what we need is we need to know the result, right? So what we'll do is we'll come to the listener and we will put a simple listener as of now. So what we are going to do is view result in table. So just a simple table is what we'll get. In HTTP request, we'll change it from get to post. So we'll copy the JSON that we already have. So we'll go here and okay, I put a single quotes, my bad. So we'll put this. So yeah, this is good. And we are going to change this to Google. So this is how it looks at the moment. So previously I used a single quote. So okay, let's minimize this and let's send out the request. So let's run it. So before that, the result is filled up with some junk data. We'll clear it up all and let's run it. So you can see here that everything landed to HTML topic, right? So all was google.com. So you can see here that is google.com. So 10 requests, all google.com. And if you come over here in the table section, you will see that all the requests has succeeded and this was the latency, this is the time taken, right? We'll do something, we'll change the body, so we'll have unique request. I found this interesting link yesterday, and we can download a CSV file over here which contains some 500 domains, right? So if I download this file over here, so you can see that we have URLs, rank, and many other things, right? We don't need all these things. We can get rid of all this thing and just take the URL, right? So we are going to trim this file and get only the URL part. So here I have the file, I have removed all of them, and what we have is just a bunch of URL, right? All the top URLs. So we are going to use this as an input and see how we are going to perform. So what we are going to do over here is to add config, and we are going to use CSV dataset config, right? So what we'll basically do over here is we'll choose the file that we need over here. So we have the file in the downloads, so let's put it to downloads. So this is the file for us. We are going to choose this. Okay, so it was my bad. It would be comma, and you need to set the name over here, the variable names comma delimited. So we have comma as the delimiter over here. We will come to the request, and we are going to remove this over here, and instead what we are going to do is we are going to say that you get the value from the URL field that's mapped, right? So this will be replaced by the variable. So what we can try out is we can get rid of this www. It's not required, I feel. Say we have 5 users and each is sending 100. Now we'll fire the request from 5 different users. And you can see over here that we are getting the request over here and they are being processed, right? So we have different URLs coming in. So even if some of them breaks also, there is no harm. It should go on, and we should have the result at the end of it, right? So at least we'll have some fair idea how long it is taking for each of the URL to process. And also to keep in mind that we are not storing all this URL for the moment, right? What we are doing is only getting the content type and just printing it on the console, right? So we are going to enable saving in MySQL and posting it into the Kafka topic, and we are going to see how it's going to scale down, right? Because all those activities is going to cost us some time, right? And also we said that we are not going to allow duplicate, right? We have 5 concurrent users, and these are sending the request to the single server that we have, right? So also this brings into a nice topic that how we can how load balancing plays an important role, and also how we should use a thread pool, right? We are not using a thread pool, and no matter what, we are just sending a success response, right? We have a thread pool and we do a parallel processing of the request. So we are going to check all those things. So probably on the next video we will see how we are going to optimize it, and also how we are going to use Nginx in order to load balance the request and distribute the load among different servers, right? So I think here it is still going on, and you can expect quite a high latency. And this CSV over here, if you see that this is the top 500 website, right? So they were scaled like the most top 500 website, right? So they were scaled, and they are low latency websites, right? It's not that their loading time is very high. So if I go to the result tab now, so you can see that the time taken is pretty high for some of the endpoints, right? So we have 439 samples as of now, and it's still going on. We have given 500. And we have taken quite a lot of time in order to process them, right? So this is the time when the request was sent. So this table over here will give you a detailed view of how it all went. There are some failed requests as well, as you see over here, some cross marks and all. So this kind of test will always give you a good insight on how your code is performing, right? How it is behaving under the stress. So when we are designing a system wherein we are expecting a higher load, we should do this kind of test in order to figure out what is the bottleneck, what is stopping us, right? we need to process a lot of requests. Though I know that we have only one machine over here, in a proper production setup we'll have a huge number of machines in order to process something like this, but still this can bring a lot of insights to you which will help you understand the problem. So we performed the basic load testing over here, and we understood certain problems that we need to address. So in the next video our focus would be to target them and to fix them and to see how much efficiency we can gain in doing so, right? So yeah, that's all from this video. Do check out the next video wherein we are going to try the same by enabling all the functionalities. So we are going to create a new method who's going to check the URL is already there or not. And we'll talk about various strategies so that we can figure out that the URL is already there or not. And so yeah, please do subscribe and stay tuned, and we are going to do a lot of activities in order to find out the bottlenecks, to discover the problems, and to come up with different kinds of solutions, right? So this was a very nice finding that we had today, right, based on this load testing that we have performed over here, right? Though it was a very basic load testing, but it still revealed a lot to us, right? So we are going to understand things in much more details in the upcoming videos and get things done. So yeah, see you soon guys. Bye bye and take care.